Welcome to my round table, square table, and I really want to share with you my thoughts on you getting moved to the country now. Because if you want to move, if you have a home in an urban, city, suburban area, I mean, in my opinion, now it's almost too late and you need to get out right now. Welcome to Goose Pond Hideout with Rob. That's me, Rob. Welcome to the Hideout. We're kind of here in the woods today with our little wrought iron squarish roundish table. But seriously, I want to talk to you about, getting moved. I made a video a little while ago about how to find inexpensive properties, and another content creator, another YouTuber that's a homesteader, made a video about it's time to get out now. And there was quite a significant discussion on my video and on that video, and I really want to share with you my thoughts on what you should be doing. So pull up a chair, grab yourself a cup of coffee. Let's talk about you getting moved to the country. Lots of people are moving to the country today. It's like 7:30 here in the morning, so yeah, I really want you, if you want to move to the country, I really want to motivate you to, the time is like now. And my previous video, I talked about when's the best time to plant a tree, and obviously you can't go back in time. And the thought there was, if you own your home now, if you're, in the suburbs, in a city, and, maybe you bought your home 5, 10, 15 years ago because, you were involved in that, what we call the normal lifestyle of getting out of school and getting a job and getting a car and, thinking that that's going to provide you with a happy life. And the happy life thing has nothing to do with material possessions. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter what kind of car you drive, what kind of McMansion house you live in. None of that stuff really matters when it comes to your happiness. And now that you've realized that, and you're thinking, well, we can't move now because land is so expensive. And so, but the thing is if you are in a home, we were on a sailboat when we moved to here. If you're in a home now and you bought it 5, 10, 15 years ago, whatever, and in the discussion that we had in the other videos, let's you bought the home for $200,000, $250,000, $300,000, whatever it was, and you're in your 3-bedroom suburban home, with 2.5 bathrooms and all of that. And now today, because of the same thing, the housing prices have gone up, and now today your home is worth, $500,000, $550,000, $599,000, and just to keep numbers easy in that, let's say it's worth twice what you paid for it. So if you bought it for $200,000 10 years ago, now it's worth $400,000. If you bought it for $250,000, it's worth $500,000. $299,000, now it's $599,000 or whatever. And plus you've paid into your principal because you've been making your mortgage payments for 5, 10, 15 years, whatever it is. And so I guess I try to not think of our home, the place that we actually live, the roof over our heads, I don't like to think of that as an investment, just from a purely financial standpoint. It's your home. It's the place that you live. It's the place that, you're raising your kids, you have your pets, whatever. It's the place you're calling home. And you see what's going on in the world, and you know you want to get to the country because you want to be more self-sufficient, you want to homestead a little bit, you want to have a nicer garden, maybe have some critters and things like that, but you're like, gee, we just can't move because land is so expensive around us. But that's the thing, is you've got to change that mindset. And that's what a lot of people said. Oh, yeah, I can't buy an acre of land by me for $300,000. Where am I going to get, that kind of thing? That's what I said in my other video, is you've got to go where that stuff's available. If land by you is $300,000 an acre, well, obviously you can't get a homestead there. You're going to have to look out in other areas. And that's why people from California and New York and Illinois and other states, they're moving to North Carolina and Tennessee and Arkansas, and these other rural states, because that's where the less expensive land is available. And, so if you've doubled the price of your home, if it was $250 and now it's $5, that's $250 cash equity that you have. And then if you've paid off maybe $100,000 on your loan, now you've got literally $400,000 in cash. So, look out in those rural areas. Go shopping farther away. You can't stay in your backyard if that's, where you want to live. You've got to go somewhere else. And that's what we did. We shopped and found a place that we could afford. So you want to live your dream, but your dream might have to change. And it just popped into my head. Part of what motivated me to make this today, and not just because of those other videos that I talked about and people saying, oh, we can't do that where we live, an acre of land, $600,000, there's no way we can move, we blah 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 blah, and excuse after excuse. Yesterday it popped up in our social media feed that there's a house in Franklin, Tennessee, so that's kind of outside of Nashville area if you're not familiar with that area, but you can look it up. Franklin, Tennessee. The house is $53.9 million. $53.9 million in Franklin, Tennessee. And it's like 388 acres or something like that. And of course it's got a cottage house, with a couple bedrooms. And it's, I think it had like 188 tree orchard and a greenhouse. And I mean, the property's like perfect for homesteading. 380 acres and a 180 plus tree orchard and a greenhouse and all kinds of, but 53.9 million. So, if that's the kind of thing somebody would be looking at, and of course I'm not saying that to you, but you gotta be realistic. And part of the problem is you're thinking with that urban suburban mentality of what you need for a house. And when you live out in the country, when you have acres of land, that's like we lived on a sailboat. I mean, the sailboat was 36 feet long and 12 feet wide in the middle, and 3 of us lived on that for 9+ years. Is when you live out in the country, you don't have to have a massive house with everybody doesn't have to have their own big giant bedroom, and everybody doesn't have to have their own bathroom, and everybody doesn't have to have their own TV and computer and and all that. Is because you're in the great outdoors and enjoying the sunshine, drinking your cup of coffee. Boy, it's getting bright out here. Sun's getting up above the trees. Day's getting shorter and shorter every morning. It's amazing how much later the sunrise is. And so, that's what I want you to be thinking about, because prices don't go up forever. I'm no financial expert, but, I've been around the sun a few times on this rock and had my dealings over all the years, the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and 2000. We were on the sailboat in 2008, so we hardly even noticed that. But, prices have skyrocketed. I mean, our property is almost 3 times what we paid for it, and that's in 10.5 years. And so, if you own a home in a suburban urban area and you're wanting to move to the country, you're wanting to get out of that lifestyle, but you're like, well, we don't really want to sell yet, we got to wait a couple more years or whatever. Home prices don't keep going up forever. At some point there's going to be some kind of pullback. Is it going to be this year? Is it going to be next year? A lot of experts, and I'm not an expert, but I agree, we're already in a recession. They just won't admit it. And that's what usually happens when a recession happens, is they always backdate it. It's just like they're doing all these updates with unemployment and stuff, where they've, lowering all the numbers down to how many people actually had jobs or how many jobs are out there. They keep saying, we're not in a recession, and now they're kind of starting to hint that we might be headed into a recession. But I guarantee you, 2 or 3 or 4 years from now, they'll say, oh yeah, that recession started in February of 24, or even in November of 23 or whatever. But getting off track there. The point is, if you own a home and you've been in it for a number of years and the value of that home is skyrocketed, I would be of the mind, because it's a home, it's not just an investment, is I'd sell, take the cash and run to the country and find a place that you can afford, that's in your budget. Might be a little bit of a fixer-upper, might be a little smaller than you want, might have just 1 bathroom, and be prepared, because when the store shelves are empty, or if you just want to grow your own food just because it's a fun thing to do and being self-sufficient, that's what you got to do. So those are my thoughts. Seriously, let me know what you think. I read all the comments, and I try to answer on a new video every comment, but I definitely read every comment, and I super appreciate you sharing your thoughts. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, that's great. Everybody's entitled to their opinion if you can support it. And I love reading the stories where you've had a successful transition to the next chapter in your life. So super, thanks.